Good morning students. Today we are going to deal with the last unit of surveying, that is area and volume measurement. This is the first part of the unit, while part 2 of the unit contains different process surveying involves for natural ongoing project, like for construction of dam or road or for construction of a reservoir. Then we will try to learn what are the different steps involved in the surveying. So let's start the first part, that is area and volume measurement. Now, as the term suggests here about area and volume, you all know the major objective of surveying is to obtain these two relative quantities, because the amount of construction work, or we can say the earthwork, or different other applications of area and volume in surveying is very important. So, to begin with, let us see some of the pictures why we want to calculate area and volume of a given entity. So, here a reservoir is there. Now we want to determine what will be the storage capacity of this reservoir. So what we need to do? We first need to determine the area with the help of any of the methods which you people have already studied, like linear measurement or angular measurement. Then after that we need to calculate the volume so as to remove the earthwork from this area and to store the water here. In the similar manner, in the second figure you can see that for the construction of earthwork, we need to determine, for the construction of road, we need to determine the volume of earthwork which can be removed from the tract, or we can say from the path which we have decided to construct, and then for leveling we need to put this earthwork in order to make proper leveled road. So for all these civil engineering purposes, we first need to determine area and volume of a given entity. Now, what is area now? So area is just referred to the area of the tract, or we can say the land projected upon the horizontal plane. We are not saying that this area represents the actual area of the land surface. Rather, it represents the area of the tract of land which is projected upon the horizontal plane. Means the part of the land which we can project in the map, or which we can draw in the map after conducting the surveying. So only that particular area will be considered here as an area of the construction. Now, if the shape of the area is enclosed by straight boundaries, then it can be subdivided into simple geometrical figures like triangle, trapezoid, rectangle and others. But suppose if these boundaries are irregular in nature, then we need to follow some of the approximate methods to determine the area of the rough boundaries. Area can also be calculated based on the measurement scaled from the plan. It means from the map we have to scale down the values. For example, if I am taking a scale of 10,000 meter is equal to 1 centimeter in my graph, then I need to represent the area. Then I can easily calculate the area in the by scaling of the plan. Or instrument method is also there to measure the area, and the instrument is known as planimeter. We will discuss one by one all these methods to determine area. Now, you all must be aware of these units, because from childhood only we are knowing, or we have heard of, that area is measured in either square meters, hectares, square feet, acres and square kilometer. So these are the units in which we can measure the area of the land. Now, what are the different methods of determining area? So, majorly it is classified into three: by computation based directly on the field measurement, by computation which is based on the measurement scaled from a map. For example, you have measured the area, you have determined the horizontal angle, vertical angle with the help of theodolite, you have calculated the value of latitude and departure, and then you have constructed a traverse in the particular area and tried to bring that in the piece of map with all the scaled off distances. Scaled off means here like you are reducing the distance of length in the field to the office or to the map size. So this is known as the computation of area based on the scaling of a map. The third one is the instrument method, or I can say the mechanical method, which is with the help of planimeter. So the first one, that is directly on the field measurement, is again classified into, we can do by dividing the area into number of similar geometrical figures, or we can say number of triangles. Then secondly, we can construct the offset to the baseline. We have already read this part in the chain survey, how to construct an offset from the baseline. So now these offset may be at regular intervals or it can be at irregular interval. We will study both of them, how to calculate the area. Third one is by latitude and departure of the bearing lines, or we can say traverse lines, and it can be further classified into double meridian distances and by double parallel distances. And the last one will be the coordinates. So we are going to discuss one by one all these methods. The basic idea is to determine area of the land. So let's start. Before going to the details of each method, let us comprise these methods into a form of flow chart where a computation of area can be divided into graphical method and instrumental method. This instrumental method, you know already, I have told that instrument used for computation of area is planimeter. Now in the graphical method, either we can do or measure the area from the field note, or we can measure the area from the plotted plan. So from the field note, as we have already discussed, either we will measure it for the regular fixed boundary or fixed area, and either we will measure the same for the rough boundaries, that are the boundary areas like the corner areas. Okay, so the entire area means we can divide this particular regular boundaries into number of triangles, rectangles and similar kind of figures, while for the boundary area we will adopt either of these four methods to calculate the area of the zigzag, or I can say not regular boundaries. Okay, let us see with this example. Suppose I have this piece of land with me. I need to calculate the area for the land. Then you can see here that this boundary is irregular in nature, while the lower boundary is perfectly straight line. So what we will do? We will divide this area into in such a manner that firstly it will form a rectangle. Suppose if I will join this line, then this particular part can be considered as rectangle. Then this particular part, let us say it is part 2, and this particular part, say part 3, will be calculated on the basis of either of these 4 methods. So it is clear that if we have regular boundaries, we can use simple mathematical formulas for rectangle, triangle, square, etc. While if irregular boundaries are there, then we can use either of these 4 methods. So let's begin with the first method, that is computation of area from the field note. Okay, so try to recall the surveying lab when you have plotted or done the surveying with the help of chain. Then what you have done? Then after that you people have drawn or located that piece of land in the form of map in your sheet. Okay, this is the center line, or we can see the chain line, and here these are the offset. So you are already clear with this figure and why these numbers are written. What does this signifies? It means this is the chainage of 50 meter, then 25 meter, or in the similar manner we can measure the offset also. Okay. So here if we will get such type of maps, then what is the next step? We first try to divide, or we can say we first try to divide the whole area into number of zones or number of areas. Then one by one we will calculate area of each zone, which is representing similar type of figure, or we can say similar geometrical figure. Then we will try to calculate the total area by adding all the areas. So here area A, which is the summation of A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. So one by one we will calculate the area for all of them. For example, here you can see that A1 is a triangle, perfect triangle. So what we will do? We will just try to calculate A1 with the help of the formula 1 by 2 base into height. So here height is the offset value, because we already know that offset is making 90 degree, or offset is always perpendicular to the main base line. So we can apply here 1 by 2 base. And what will be the base here? Base will be from here. If I am starting 0 0, then this length is 58 up to here, and this one is here, it is 25. Okay. So 58 minus 25 will give me the length of the base I want to consider here, and the height is 10 meter. So 1 by 2, 58 minus 25 into 10 is the area for A1. Then A2 is again a triangle. So in A2 we can see that the base here will be 25, while the height is same, that is 10. So 1 by 2 into 25 into 10. Similarly A3, A4 and A5 you can determine where A1, A2, A5 and A3 are the regular geometrical triangles, while A4 area is trapezoid here. So what is the formula of trapezoid? Trapezoid formula is half of sum of the parallel sides into height. Okay. So here half of the sum of parallel sides are 9 plus 12, and the height we will consider here as 50 minus 16. So in this manner we can calculate area of each section, and then we will add all the areas together to get the area of this whole figure. Now the second one is the computation of area from a plotted plan. So in this particular thing, what we need to do here, in the first case we have the field notes. Field notes means we have all the dimensions. Okay, we have the length of the chainage, we have the length of the offset, and from there we are trying to calculate the area. While in the second one we just have the plan and the rough idea. Okay, so in that particular case we try to divide that rough figure in the form of triangles, squares or the rectangles. This is the one case. Here what we are doing, the entire area will be divided in the regions of a convenient shape. For example, this one will be the area, suppose. Then what I am doing, I have kept this particular irregular circular area in a map or in a piece of paper with certain grids. So with the help of these grids I can count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means 7 grids are complete. So 7 grids can be calculated as area into area of one grid into 7. Then the grids which the boundary is having some portion will be calculated by that 4 methods which I have told in the previous slide. So here, suppose this is an irregular area and we have divided this irregular area in the convenient shape of triangles. So triangle area, as you already know, 1 by 2 base into altitude, and then area will be summation of all these small triangles. Similarly here, each square represents the suppose represent unit area of 1 centimeter square or 1 meter square, then in this case area will be number of squares into unit area. Okay. So if we can consider here, if this is an irregular figure we are having, then area can be calculated as length of the rectangle, okay, length of the rectangle into constant depth, because we can see here that depth is constant for each of the zone. Okay. So in this manner we can calculate area for the irregular geometrical shape by dividing it into conveniently into some standard geometrical shapes. Now let's try to deal or go in detail with the first method, that is, in this method if I am considering, let us discuss more about triangulation, that we have divided an area in the form of triangle. Suppose in this case what we need to do, it is an irregular traverse we are having, then what we need to do, at the center we need to put a transit, and from here we are going to measure different, we are going to make or we are going to project different traverse lines like OA, OB, OC, OD and OE. After that we need to calculate the length and bearing of each of these lines with the help of any of the chain, compass or theodolite, whatever we are choosing for this particular survey. After calculating the length and bearing of all the lines, we need to determine the area of triangle. Okay. For example, I have determined with the help of chain length of OE, OD, OC, OB and OA. I have also determined with the help of compass or with the help of theodolite the bearing of all these lines. So if bearing of this line, suppose bearing of line OE and line OA is there with me, then I can easily calculate the this included angle, okay, or I can calculate easily this particular angle. So if I am knowing the bearing and length of different traverse lines, I can easily calculate the area of triangle. So the total area of the tract, this particular tract, will be then equal to sum of the area of individual triangles. So if two sides and one included angle of a triangle is measured, okay, for example I have measured this, I have measured this side and I am knowing the included angle, okay, between the triangle, so I can easily calculate the area by formula 1 by 2 AB sin C. This formula is simple geometrical formula and you must be aware of this. After calculating, suppose now I want to calculate it for CD. So it will be 0.5 CD into sin E. Okay. So in this manner you can calculate the area of each individual triangle in the tract and then you can do the summation of these areas, individual areas. After getting the area, you can also apply a kind of check here, and the check is that since you are not knowing the sides of, you are only knowing the sides of triangle, length of the sides of the triangle, so with the help of the formula S into under root S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C, this is the area of the triangle, where S here is the half perimeter, which is equal to 1 by 2 A plus B plus C. Okay. So in this manner you can easily calculate the value of area of triangle and you can then check it with the conventional formula. Okay. After calculating with this, after getting the values, length of the traverse lines and after getting the bearing of the lines and included angle, by applying this formula you can calculate the area of individual triangle and then after summation you will get the total area. For the check purpose, whether you have calculated it correctly or not, you can determine the area of each individual triangle with the help of the conventional formula, and then you can take the summation and see whether these two entities are equal or not. Okay. So where this type of method is suitable? Generally this method is suitable for work of very small or not that important nature. Okay, suppose some repair work is going on in the road or such type of a small works, in that we can use this very often. Also we can use it in the place where the determination of the closing error is not important and computation of latitude and departure is also not that necessary. So we can comply this particular method. Now case 2, if we will begin, then for example, now the boundary area or the middle area we need to calculate. In this particular method, a large square or rectangle is formed within the center and the boundary area can be calculated with the 4 methods which we have discussed in the previous slides. So the ordinates are drawn at regular interval from the side of the square to the curved boundaries. So in this particular case, total area will be equal to middle area and the boundary area. Now the middle area can be subdivided into again a similar geometrical shapes like triangle, rectangle, square, trapezoid. From this figure we can easily see that how the dimensions can be obtained. For example, this is an irregular figure with us. Now we have divided this area majorly into 2 parts, that is the middle area. Okay, so it is in the form of perfect square and we are knowing the sides or we are knowing the dimension of these sides, and then we are left out with these 4, suppose 1, 2, 3 and 4, these 4 boundary areas, and we are trying to calculate the area of now these 4 bounding areas. So this is a second case. Okay, first case is what? Our first case is if we will consider entire area together and then we will divide it in the convenient circle, triangle, rectangular, whatever forms we could. And the second one is we will divide the whole area in the form of middle area and the boundary area, in which middle area will be the perfect large square, triangle, rectangle, circle, etc., while the boundary areas can be determined with the other methods. Okay. Now the second method will comprises of, like the boundary areas of this method, case 2, the boundary areas, this boundary areas will be determined by all these 4 methods: mid-ordinate rule, average ordinate rule, trapezoidal rule and Simpson 1/3 rule. Also we have to see that whatever boundary surfaces we are left with are having the offset at regular interval or these are having the offset at irregular interval. Suppose if I will consider this particular boundary area, then we can see here these offsets which are drawn are in the regular interval. So if they are in regular interval, we will try to apply these 4 rules, either of these 4 rules. But if these offset are, suppose here also these offset are at regular interval, means this distance is equal, this distance is equal, this distance is equal. So all these distances are equal, while this particular distance is not equal and last one is not equal. So in this particular case, if the offsets are drawn at irregular interval, then we need to apply different other methods, that is the coordinate method. So let's begin with this particular method where offsets are drawn at regular interval. So this method is suitable for long narrow strips of land. The offsets are generally measured from the boundary to the baseline or a survey line at regular intervals, and this method can also be applied to a plotted plan from which the offsets to a line can be scaled off. What does this mean? For example, we already have a plotted plan, then we can comply offsets by our own by scaling of the distance. Now we have 4 such methods for offset at regular interval: mid-ordinate rule, average ordinate rule, trapezoidal rule and Simpson 1/3 rule. Let's begin. Suppose here if I can say we have first method mid ordinate rule, and here you can see the distance between the first ordinate. Okay, number of ordinates we have divided, or we can say number of zones we have divided are known as ordinates here. Okay, so we can see we have divided this irregular area into, suppose don't try to ignore this h1, h2, h3, h4 part. Only try to imagine these lines O2, O3, O4, O5. So the whole area is divided into these particular rectangular strips O2, O3, O4, O5. Now we need to calculate the area of the particular area of the particular strip. Here the length of the strip of the land is L, and the distance of the first ordinate or between the two ordinates is equal and is equal to D. Now let's try to calculate. Length of the baseline is L and D will be the common distance between the ordinates. So suppose O1, O2, O3 up to On are the equal ordinates at equal intervals. Now what we need to do? We need, after dividing the area into number of ordinates, we need to find the midpoint of each ordinate. Suppose this is the ordinate O2, this is the ordinate O2 to O3, or I can say this is the ordinate O3, this is the ordinate O4. So this H1 is the midpoint of this line. Similarly, H2 is the midpoint of O2, O3. H3 is the midpoint of O3, O4. And H4 is midpoint of O4, O5 line. This point is midpoint at the mid of this two. Okay, from here to here. So this is known as the mid ordinates. Now what we need to do? We need to calculate the area of plot, which will be equal to H1 into D. H1 into D. Okay, plus H2 into D plus H3 into D plus H4 into D up to so on. So in this manner it will be equal to, if I can say, it will be equal to, area will be equal to common distance, okay, which is D here, multiplied by sum of the mid ordinates. Okay, here I can say that the ordinates is equal to, or mid ordinate will be equal to length into number of ordinate minus 1. In this formula, as you can see, suppose H1, H2, H3, H4 are the mid ordinates up to Hn minus 1. Then here length of the baseline will be equal to L into n minus 1. Okay, so in this manner we can calculate the area of the plot by multiplying this D with the summation of mid ordinates H1 plus H2 plus H3 up to so on. Okay, so this is very easy. We can try to solve numerical based on all these four methods. Let us consider here from this figure also. Suppose we have divided this ordinate into common distance D. Suppose this point is O, this is O1, O2, O3, O4 and so on. Now this is the mid of the ordinate H1, mid of the ordinate 2, H2, mid of the ordinate 3, H3. So these are the midpoint of the ordinate and the distance is D. Now this particular length of the baseline will be equal to n minus 1 into D. Okay, so this will be Hn minus 1, because after that Hn will be that point will be considered as ordinate. Okay, so not the mid ordinate but will be considered as ordinate after that. So we have taken here Hn minus 1, so length will be equal to n minus 1 into D. So in the similar manner here we can represent this particular formula in the form of A is equal to summation of mid ordinate values into n upon n minus 1 into length of the baseline. Moving to the average ordinate rule, here what we need to do, we just need to follow the same principle as we followed for the mid ordinate rule. The only difference here will be, here we are taking the average of ordinate values also. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are calculating the area on the basis of O1 plus O2 up to On. Okay, and then we are dividing it by n plus 1 into L. Okay, so in this manner we are calculating the value. Here I have made a small mistake which I want to rectify. Yeah, so here this will be, sorry, this will not be considered, or I can say this is the denominator which I have by mistake taken as, yeah, now it will be correct. So it will be like that. The average ordinate value can be calculated from value of ordinates only. Okay, we are doing the average of ordinates, not the mid ordinate as we did in previous case. So O1 plus O2 up to the last On, then divided by n plus 1 into L. So this is the formula for the average ordinate rule, and we can apply it for the ordinates or offset at the regular interval. Now let's move to the trapezoidal rule, which is very important. So now here, while applying the trapezoidal rule, the boundaries between the end of the ordinate are assumed to be perfectly straight. Okay, thus the area enclosed between the baseline and the irregular boundary line are considered as trapezoid. In this particular method, we are trying to divide these areas into number of trapezoids. For example, we have divided the area into number of ordinates from O1 to suppose O6 or up to On. Okay, then first area will be equal to what? It is considered as a trapezoid. So sum of the parallel sides, here parallel side is O1 and O2, and height will be considered as D. So sum of parallel side means 1 by 2 O1 plus O2 multiplied by D. Similarly, for the second strip we will take as O2 plus O3 by 2, O2 plus O3 by 2 into D. In the similar manner, for the last area we will consider as On minus 1 plus On by 2 into D. So now after determining or after dividing the irregular area into number of trapezoid and calculating the area of each trapezoid, we will do the summation. After doing the summation, we will get that it will be equal to common distance by 2. Okay, we have taken out, see here, we have taken out D by 2 common from all the entity. So we will calculate it as common distance by 2 into first ordinate plus last ordinate On plus On plus twice of sum of the other ordinate. Okay, from the, if you will add all these values, then you can get with this, get the formula here. Okay, so you can compile the formula as total area will be equal to common distance by 2 D by 2 multiplied by summation of first and last ordinate plus twice the sum of other middle ordinates. Okay, so in this manner you can calculate the area by trapezoidal rule. Let's move to Simpson rule. In this particular rule, the boundaries between the end of the ordinates are assumed to form an arc of parabola. Okay, suppose here. So here what we did here we suppose that the boundaries between the end of the ordinates will be assumed to be straight and irregular boundary line will be considered a shape of trapezoid. While here we are saying that the boundaries between the end of the ordinates are forming an arc of parabola. So Simpson rule is also known as parabola rule sometimes. So here suppose this is an area, total area, and we have divided these area into number of consecutive ordinates. Okay, so in this particular case what we do, we will put the ordinates in with the common distance D. Now the area of A, F, 2, D and C. Consider this area AF2DC. Now we can divide this area AF2DC into summation of area F13D, okay, or I can say summation of area F2DF. See here, F2DEF plus summation of AFDC, okay. So in this manner, the whole area which we need to calculate with the help of Simpson's rule, that is area AF2DCB, area AF2DC DCB, or I can say AF2DCA. This total area can be divided into F2DF plus area AFDC, this part plus this part, okay. So we will separately try to calculate the area of F2DF, and we will separately calculate the area of AFDC, and then we will add both of that. So let's begin with the formula. Here you can see that area of trapezium AFDC will be equal to what? AFDC will be equal to O1 plus O3, sum of the parallel sides, okay, sum of the parallel sides by 2, O1 plus O3 by 2 into height here is taken as 2D. So we will calculate the area of AFDC in a similar manner of trapezoid. Now we need to calculate the area of F2DF, okay. So this segment, area of segment F2DF, will be calculated as 2 by 3 into area of parallelogram F13D. This is a basic mathematical formula, okay. I am not going to explain how it is coming here, but it can be calculated. You can get the proof of this from the regular geometrical figure, that if you have cut down a parabola in the parallelogram, then always the area of that particular segment will be equal to the 2 by 3 times area of the parallelogram, and here that parallelogram will be F13DF, okay, or I can say F13DF. So parallelogram F13DF into 2 by 3 will give me the area of this segment F2DF. So how to calculate area of parallelogram F13D? So it will be equal to, parallelogram area will be equal to, here it will be equal to what? 2 by 3 times E2, this distance, into 2 times of D, that will be considered as height, okay. Now E2 we need to calculate. Area of the parallelogram, if I want to calculate, so area of the parallelogram will be equal to, or I can say that area of parallelogram here will be equal to E2 into 2D, okay. This is the area of the parallelogram, simple parallelogram, E2 into 2D. Now we don't know the value of E2, so E2 can be calculated as what we can do to calculate E2? E2 can be calculated as O2 minus O1 plus O3 by 2, okay. Suppose this is O1 plus O3, so O1 plus O3 by 2, and if we will deduct it from O2, then we can get the value of E2. So the area between the first two divisions will be calculated by delta 1, which will be equal to O1 plus O3 by 2, see here, O1 plus O3 by 2 into 2 times of common distance D, plus this segment, area of this segment, which will be equal to 2 by 3 times E2 into FD, where FD is the 2D only. So 2 by 3 times into 2D into value of E2, where E2 will be equal to what? E2 will be equal to O2 minus O1 plus O3 by 2. So in this manner you can calculate the value of total value of this area, and so on. If you will try to expand this formula further for the ordinates 04, 05, 06, 07, then what you need to do? You need to apply, or you need to determine the area in the similar fashion. At the last, after calculating the values of area of all the strips of ordinates, you will get a final conclusion or a final area as total area will be equal to D by 3, since here 2 is cancelled from this 2. Okay, so we are only left with D by 3. So D by 3 into ordinates 01 plus 402 plus 203 plus 404, like this up to ON plus 1, and which we can further say or calculate as, see here, we will try to take common 4, and we will see here all the even ordinates are inside. We will try to take common as 2 outside. We will see all the odd ordinates are there, 3, 5, 7, 9, ON minus 1, and in this bracket you can say ordinates of even domain, for example 02, 04, 06, 08 will be there. So the total area can be written as common distance by 3 into summation of first and last ordinate plus 4 times sum of even ordinate and 2 times sum of remaining odd ordinates. So after applying this formula, we can calculate the area of the irregular boundaries with offset at regular intervals. Okay. So what is the difference between Simpson rule and trapezoidal rule? Here we get D by 2, okay, common distance D by 2, and there in the Simpson rule we are getting D by 3. The second difference is in of the calculation is, here we are having summation of first and last coordinate, there also we are having the same thing, but here 2 times of sum of other ordinate is there, while there we have 2 times sum of even ordinate, sum of odd ordinates, and 4 times sum of even ordinates. So in this manner, trapezoidal and Simpson rules, by application of both these rules, we can easily determine the area. After determination of area, you can see that Simpson rule is far more better and accurate as compared to trapezoidal rule, as it gives the approximate result while it gives the accurate result. Also, this rule can be applied when the number of ordinates must be odd, and it can be applied for any number of ordinate. Okay, but this is the limitation for Simpson rule. We can only apply this if the number of ordinates are odd. For odd ordinates, it will give more accurate value. For odd ordinates, it will give approximate value, but it have no limitation. It can either be applied for even ordinates or for odd ordinate. Third one is that the boundary between the ordinate is considered here as an arc of a parabola, while here it is considered to be a straight line or to be straight edge. So these are the few differences that are listed between trapezoidal and Simpson rule. Now our second part is by constructing the offset to the baseline, where offsets are drawn at irregular interval. Okay, so here also we will comply two methods. First method is in this particular method, the area of each trapezoid is calculated separately. We have divided this area, rough area, into number of trapezoids, and the area of each trapezoid is calculated separately, and then they are separately added, and then the value is determined. Because here you can see the length or I can say the offsets are not at the regular interval. Suppose here the offset is at distance d1, d2, d3, d4. Okay, so in this manner so many offsets are there with unequal distances. In the previous methods, all the distances of d1, d2, d3, d4 are common, that is d. But here, since the distances of the offsets are different, so we will apply this method. We will first determine the value of area of each trapezoid. Suppose here the trapezoid, the area will be 1 by 2 O1 plus O2 into D then here 1 by 2 O2 plus O3 into D2, here 1 by 2 O3 plus O4 into D3. In the similar manner we will calculate all the areas of the trapezoid and then we will add them together to determine the total area. Now the second method for this method of irregular method or irregular intervals of irregular interval of offset can be calculated as with the help of coordinate method. So in the coordinate method, if you can see from this particular figure, okay, you need to determine the area of this irregular figure, in which we cannot able to draw or make an offset at regular interval. So in this particular case we will try to use the method of coordinate. First we will try to draw this figure in the piece of map, then we will try to locate the coordinate axes, x-axis and y-axis. Then after drawing the origin somewhere here, we will try to calculate the area of this particular entity. So here if I can say that area can be calculated as in terms of coordinates only, we will calculate. We know the coordinates of each point A, B, C, D. I can say these coordinates may be calculated with the help of latitude and departure also. Okay, so you can consider that also, or you can simply take the coordinates by putting the coordinate axis and origins at somewhere. So in this particular figure, if I need to determine the area of this marked figure, we will do what? We can do area of AA, BB plus area of BB, CC. So if I will add area of AA, BB plus area of BCC, then this complete figure is included in this area formula, which I was not formula in which I have said, but in this particular thing this area is also coming into picture. So we need to deduct this part. So this particular figure, the area of this particular figure can be determined as summation of area of AABB plus area of BBCC minus area of AADD minus area of DDCC. So in this manner, after calculating the total area, we will try to deduct this part and we will get the area of the required zone. So this method is known as the coordinate method. For example, suppose if I am saying area of AABB, then it can be calculated as 1 by 2 y1 minus y2. See here, y1 is here, then y2 is this. So 1 by 2 y1 minus y2 into x1 plus x2. Okay, into x1. x1 will be what? x1 will be this value and x2 will be this value. So area will be equal to 1 by 2 y1 minus y2 plus x1 plus x2. Okay. In the same manner, we will calculate the area of BBCC. So BBCC will be equal to y2 minus y3. Okay, BBCC. y2, where is the y2? This one is the y2, then y3. So y2 minus y3 into x2 plus x3 means x2 is measured up to here plus x3. Okay, so it will come like that. In the similar manner, we will deduct this area of AADD. So AADD and area of CCDD. So what will be the area of CCDD? It will be calculated as area of CCDD will be equal to 1 by 2 times y4 minus y3 into x2 into x4 plus x3. So with the help of this coordinate system, you can easily determine the values. Now in the next lecture we are going to study. Till now in this lecture we have covered what? We have covered these first two methods, okay, by dividing the area into number of triangles, then by offset to the baseline, where if offset are at regular interval, then how to calculate the area, and if the offset at irregular interval, then how we will calculate the area. Now in the coming lecture we will try to cover both these portion by latitude and departure method, how to determine it by using double meridian distance or double parallel distance, and then by using coordinates as we did here in the irregular interval, we can calculate the area of the given entity. And also by other two methods, like we will try to look how to measure the area with the help of planimeter, and how to measure the area by scaling down the distances in the map. So all these will be covered in the coming lecture, and after this second lecture we will solve some numerical also in the lecture 2 of this series, and then in lecture 3 we are trying to calculate or determine the volume of the surveying area and numericals based on that. Okay, so try to read this from the book, and if you have any doubt regarding the calculation of the formula or the methods which I have discussed today, please let me know through the mail. Okay, stay safe and study well. Thank you.